That's a beautiful point you made, because King David wasn't a tough guy to the outside appearance.
That's it.
And he even said that the Lord teaches his hands to war.
Oh.
So you can do that to anybody. You can put the Spirit on you to have the...
Thank you. It's the way the Most High put the Spirit in you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I've got a quick one here. You finished with that?
Yeah.
This is 2 Corinthians 10, starting at verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of
strongholds.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of the anointed. Do you know what? I want to say something on this as well, because I said this before, I want to say it again. Since I came into the truth, which was about 2017, and I'm not saying this to be boastful or anything, but I've never lost an argument. And the reason why I've never lost an argument since I've been in the truth is because I'm always coming out of the scriptures.
But this is it. That's
crazy. Like, I mean, I didn't really get into arguments big time in the world anyway, but like, I'm able to, through the scriptures, always, you know, the scriptures say, be ready to answer every man. I've always, you know, every time you come out of the scriptures, you never go wrong. If you start speaking your own opinion, then people could confound you and say, oh yeah, but you went off on this and you think that. No, we just say the words of this book, and none of these words fail. And that in itself is spiritual power. Because a lot of these people in the world who don't know this truth, they would love to never lose an argument. They would love, to be able to not have any man confound. See, because the scriptures say, you know, no man shall. I'll give you a mouth that no man should be able to gainsay nor resist. So nobody can resist these words.
And that's why, brother, they always say, people, when you stop like talking to people, they say, no, don't bring up the scripture. Let me hear what you have to say.
Exactly.
You know, but you say, no, you have to stick along according to the scriptures.
Exactly.
That's it.
These scriptures are like a train track. You know, the train will run on the track. You try and take that. You try and take that train off the track. It's not going to go nowhere. No way. So you got to stay on the path of the scriptures. And what do the scriptures also say? My word is a lamp unto my feet. You know, so it lights the path where we're supposed to walk in, man. If when you step out of this truth, then you're going to be back to groping around in the darkness, which is how we were before we woke up. You know, when I was in the world, I was always frustrated because it's like, I always knew that this isn't right, man. There's something wrong here, but I can't figure out what it is. Something about the world just didn't seem right. I never fitted in. Yeah, I may have had a few friends at school, we laugh, we joke, but there was always like a dividing line between me and them. I knew that. Yeah, there's something like holding me back. You couldn't pinpoint it. Yeah, I could never be into being around them. Aria, where you want this to go? I'll take it. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, there's always something holding me back, restraining me from going too far into the world. Now I know that it's the Spirit of the Lord because He called me to be in this truth. And that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, we were talking about wisdom and judgment and having a ruling class mentality. And how a lot of Jake throw around the term boss, leader, king, queen. All these words, they'll throw them around because they sound good. And you know what? The word... I've got a precept, bear me. So like your brother, go on. Bear me, I'm just looking for a precept. Do you know if the Elder Mahd's coming or is he not coming?
He hasn't said he's not coming, so I think he will be coming.
Right. Let me bring out this precept. This is Proverbs 18 and verse 20. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Let me read that again. Proverbs 18 and verse 20. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So the point I want to make with that is that, yeah, a lot of these people can exalt themselves with their own mouth. They can give themselves these grandiose titles, like what's that guy from the Sakari calling himself Chief High Priest? Yeah, you can give yourself these lofty titles, but you're just eating the fruit of your mouth. the Most High didn't bestow that title upon you. You bestowed that title upon yourself. So you're basically feeding your flesh by eating the fruit of your lips. But you know, the life and death are in the power of the tongue, man. And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So if you're really sincere with yourself, if you're honest with yourself, you'll know that you ain't shit. None of us are shit. Like, I ain't shit, man. The only reason I'm shit is because I'm doing the work of the Lord. And even then, I have to pray that the Lord don't make me a castaway. So I can never get puffed up and think, oh yeah, well, I've got it all together. We're nothing yet, because we haven't, none of us even know if we're of the elect. That's why we say we're the hopeful, because we hope to receive the salvation of the Lord. We hope to be worthy. And the time when we'll know that we're worthy is when we're on the chariots.
Oh, big time.
You know, or if, you know, heaven forbid any of us become martyrs for this truth, and we go before the throne of the Lord, and he says, you know what, I made you a martyr, go and stand in your lot as one of the elect. That's when we'll know. But before then, we have a lively hope, and we do this work in the hopes of being saved. But until Yahushua puts some crowns on our heads, there's nothing to boast about right now. You got one?
1 Corinthians chapters 2 and 14 says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Yeah, because spiritually discerned, man. Which, to a certain level, the Most High did give me that. I'll say, he didn't give me much, right? And I'm being honest there. Yeah. He didn't give me much, right? But he did give me, because I'll say this, right? I'm not a good reader, right? Academic reader. But I do know I'm quite good at reading spirits. I'm actually quite very good at reading spirits. Yeah. When I'm in the world, especially when you need, and that's the Most High, man. You understand what I'm saying? Like I could give a testimony. I could give a testimony, right? Just one testimony, but there's a lot of these testimonies. And I told it to brothers before. It's out there on YouTube. Right? I used to be in raves, right? And you know, Jake, you know, in the world, you love him raving.
Get wild,
right? And I was in this yard, and I knew some yardies. You hear about man? Oh, I knew some bad man. I knew some bad man, right? Who had bodies on them, right? But this was like I was in the young man in the sound system, right? And this yardie was friend with the operator, the sound system operator. The yardie come on from Jamaica, back and forward, but he had bodies on him, right? And he was wanted, right? So in this rave, me a little bit oblivious, a little bit aware though about him. I'm aware of him and knew of him. He had a kind of reputation and a name. So we're doing a rave, hash rave at his yard, his woman's yard. So we did a rave, right? And this happened more than once. We were raving the sound system, and I said, I feel uncomfortable, right? And I went and I left. I said to the sound man, I'm going down with it. Either I checked some other rave out, but I dust that, and it was still early. And it was still nice there, right? But I just feel like I had to go. So the next day I check him now, the sound operator. He had a bandana around his head. I said, what happened? And he showed me he had stitches. He had about 8 stitches in his head, right? Swell up until he went to the hospital that morning. Yeah? And he explained to me, and he said, I noticed you always go missing when something's gonna pop off, you know. Because it happened a couple of times where things happen, and he said he noticed that always go missing. So that was someone trying to get at the sound man, and anybody who was involved would have got it, because the man them came in with baseball bats. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, I mentioned this the last time. They threw a bottle cocktail in the yard through the window first.
A Molotov
cocktail through the window first, and then they came in. So the place, everybody's pure confusion.
Yeah.
Right. And that was just one experience where, and the same man who got licked in his head, he told me, I didn't know though that I was always going missing before pop off. I didn't even know that. I didn't even put that 2 and 2 together. But he did. And there's another one. Let me mention this one last one, right? Yeah, we're talking about discernment. I know why I'm saying what I'm saying. Talking about discernment. So I was in a rave called Telepathy. It was big in the early 90s, mid-90s. Around early 90s, because I became a Christian in the mid-90s. So it was definitely early 90s. And there was well-known, some celebrities used to be there. There's a woman in Desmond's. You can check out Desmond's. You can check out the casting. The one woman.
It's his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter. She was in the rave. Yeah, right. She was a commoner. You understand? It was telepathy, and it was like illegal raves that take place and shit. And you got to know where. You got to be in contact, and you find out where it is. You go there. Next time it might be there. It might be from there. So we was in that rave, smoke machines, everything, telepathy, jungle music, you understand? Raving. The next thing I know, I see yellow coming in. Police, it was police, right?
Raid.
It's like it was a raid, right? And the door, I saw a little light just there. Bearing in mind it was all smoky, right?
Yeah.
Smoke machine. I saw a little light. I dust through and I got out. Right? And this is more than once. And I said, all praise to Jehovah, I should do a shout. And you know what I did? I stood outside like I wasn't in the rave, you know? And I'm watching things and I see things out there. I knew the promoter and everybody. I knew the man who was making the money. But to say about discernment, or you might even say, people say in the world, this guy's lucky, he's got 9. They used to say I had 9 lives. So, let me just finish reading. It says, but the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is not judged by no man. So he gave me a spiritual ability that I got, which he didn't give me much else, but he did give me that, which I can use up to this day, and I can even refine it. Yaharatazar, I do refine it, Yaharatazar. But he gave me that, and he delivered me out a lot. You heard about some people who Joshua, who was delivered from many battles. Joshua, I was delivered from many battles, not of my own doing, not of my starting either. Yeah. You know, sometimes I might have started. I'm not going to say the ones I've started. I'm not going to go all into them ones. Yeah. As the elder says, I'm not going to go all into that. But some of them I may have started. But most I delivered me out of many things, and that's why we was talking about before. We were talking about how most I've given my memory back to the things. As being born again is giving my memory back to the things that
happened in the past.
Happened before. Because we are actually born again, and it's some of our memory that he ain't going to give it to us before the time. Yeah. And over the Passover, the meditating I was doing, like I said, this Passover was my most fearful, because of what I know more now and what I appreciate more about the Passover. So I was more fearful. So I was meditating on a lot of things I did in the past. Yeah. Most I was bringing me back. And when he brings you back to the things that you know you've done, you feel even more like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. He can jack you up anytime, brother. Anytime. As the elder said. So that made you appreciate your whole shot even more. Yeah. Just to say that if he didn't give me much, I'm learning from the brothers as well, like the academic brothers, which I can still learn anyway. But I can learn to be more, what's the word, man? Have a good vocabulary, better with words. I can learn about love from this brother over here. Yeah. You know, how to be loved and be broad-minded and accepting of just be loving, and you know, that's a powerful quality. To be quick with the prophecies, like the brother we know who's good with the prophecies, and keep up with the current events, man. There's a lot though. It's a whole lot though, brother.
That's why you need different bodies, different brothers, different members of one body. Not everybody's doing the same thing. Not everybody's gifted in the same area. But when we come together, we make the whole thing work, and that's the beauty of it. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing the brotherhood working together, man. Like it's like seeing a well-oiled machine. All the cogs are turning. You know, nothing's jammed up, nothing's broken. It's beautiful to see, because in our lives before we came to the truth, most of us come from broken families. You know, messed up homes, messed up families, arguments all the time, brothers not getting on with brothers, mum and dad separated. So when we come into this truth now and we see the brotherhood working in unity, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'd even say it's a miraculous thing. It's a miracle to see Israelites coming together. Not coming together with different doctrine, but you know, we're all speaking the same doctrine, coming out of the same word. That is miraculous. And that's why I went into Ezekiel the 37th chapter earlier, because that ties in with Revelation the 11th chapter. And that's what we're experiencing right now. After 350 days, after 3 days and a half, which is 350 years, they shall ride. Let me read it. Let me paraphrase.
Yeah, because I just want to make a little point.
Go ahead.
Regarding this. It says, but the natural man receives not the things of the spirit. So now, let's say those guys who now are no longer with us had spirituality, but they didn't have those other qualities, like being good with reading loud and speaking and all that. But they had you see, at least you would know when to shut the fuck up.
That's a good point.
See,
I've got a precept.
Both of them. They would know when to shut. Now's the time I should shut my fucking mouth up and humble myself. At least, see, that's what I can say that I've got. At least most I gave me didn't give me much, but at least he gave me that to know when to shut up, man, and let the younger men who are doing this thing, let them teach you. Like you say, some older men would just you know what I mean? Nah, man. So that's what I wanted to mention about that.
Yeah.
You know? Just that opens up a whole new door of opportunity. The fact that but the natural man receives not the things of the spirit, right? But the spiritual judgeth all things. That opens up a whole new door.
That's right. Quick precept to back up what you're saying. Right, so it says, Proverbs 27 and verse 2, let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. Straight up, man. Yeah, so again, there's different qualities that go towards making a man of the Lord. As you said, knowing when to speak and knowing when to keep silence. That's in Ecclesiastes. It says there's the time to speak, the time to keep silence, the time to love, the time to hate. All these different variations. You've got to be able to ride this, ride the wave, man. You know, different times, different spirits can have different times. The spirits can have different things going on, and as a man of the Lord, you've got to be able to be in sync with that spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's not always time to be about, I'm going to give orders, it's me. No, you've got to be able to humble and listen. And then there's other times, you need to speak up and express your point. But everything in the balance, man. But the guys who come around and they just want to be somebody, they don't have no balance, man. That's why they're not leaders. Because as you said, a good leader has to be able to manage different situations, different spirits. Oh, just say, wait me a second.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Just to back up what the brother's saying, to be able to read spirits, because it's a team effort. This is all a team effort, man. Like you got the brother there behind the camera right now, you know, team effort, you know. Brother, you got the elders that keep the order, you know, keep everything running.
I like how you
know?
Benjamin.
That's the Benjamin.
Yeah, that's that Benjamin.
That's coming out. It always comes out every now and then. And you know, you got brothers that different spirits that keep everything going. It's a team effort, man.
Yeah, exactly. Good point, Thawada. Because like if you look at football, I'm not into football myself, but sometimes when my brother used to watch it, I'd watch it, and I'd be sitting there watching, and you know, I'm looking at the match, what's going on, and it's not just one man on the pitch. Like you've got two sides of 11, right? I believe it's 11 players. Yeah, two sides of 11. One's the goalkeeper. You might have 3 defenders, maybe 4 midfielders, and 2 strikers up front. Like you need everybody to play their different position. You can't do it all one man by yourself. Like you can't just go out there and be like, okay, I'm going to be the goalkeeper, and then I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to go through the defense, go through the midfield, go up. I'm going to be a striker at the front, and I'm going to kick the ball in the other team's net. You as one man, you can't go up against a team of 11. You know, it's not going to work. You need others around you, and that's how the Lord has set up this truth. It's not about just, okay, I'm going to give this truth to one man, and he's going to go out there and he's going to prophesy, and then the end shall come. No, it was ordained that 12,000 from each of the tribes are going to go out there, making up the 144,000, and you know, the great multitude that's going to believe as well. It's not a one-man thing. I mean, you got to be bugged out in your head to think that, because that means you're actually going against the scriptures, because the scriptures broke it down, man. 12,000 from Judah, 12,000 from Benjamin, Levi, on and on. That's 144,000, but yet you're going to be so big-headed in your own mind to think, well, I'm above all these guys. I mean, where's that coming from? We know it's where it's coming from. It's the demon of pride, you know, and it's the demon of pride that's taken root. And that's the thing. These demons, man. This is why I said you can lie to other people, but the worst person to lie to is yourself. Because when you start believing in your own lies, now you're just completely lost. Because it's like, let's say, God forbid this be the case, right? Because I personally, I don't like to do with lies, it's not me. But let's say I was lying to somebody. Let's say I lied to somebody and I think, okay, I'm going to meet this person on Wednesday, right? So on Wednesday, let's say I'm meeting them every Wednesday. So I think to myself, every Wednesday I have to put up this charade and keep this lie going, right? So every Wednesday I'm telling them something that's false. But on every other day of the week, the other 6 days of the week, I can let my guard down, I can be someone else. But every Wednesday I have to put on this front, right? Well, that's why lying to yourself is dangerous, because every day you're having to continue that lie in order to believe your bugged out view of the world. So you're lying to yourself more and more and more and more, to the point where you don't even know what the truth is anymore, and you're lost. And that's how a demon can take root in you, because a demon can take root in you because the demon. This is one where let me give a brief testimony. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. When I was very young, like about age 3, my parents separated and I went to live with my mum. And around that time I started to hear voices talking to me. And the voices would be saying, throw yourself out the bedroom window because you don't want to be alive anymore. You hate your life. Your life is hell. Why don't you just end it? It'll be all better if you throw yourself out the window. And I'm like, where's this voice coming from? Because I could perceive that it wasn't me saying it. I'm like, where are these thoughts coming from? I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to throw myself out the window. Eventually I was able to resist the demon, and the scriptures say, resist the devil and he would flee from you, roughly paraphrasing. So eventually I was able to resist it to a point where it stopped coming to me in that way. But the point I'm trying to make is that we were talking about spiritual gifts, right? Yeah. That was a gift that I got from the Lord, where I'm able to perceive spirits. Like when something's like, I know my voice and I know the voice of something that's not me. But a lot of people don't have that discernment. So they hear these things in their head, their mind's telling them to do this, and they think it's their own thoughts telling them to do it, not realizing that it's a demon actually playing on their mind. And if they consent to what the demon says, they're giving the demon more power. Now we know that the word demon means intelligence, and I'll say this as well. Let's say there's someone, let's say there's a girl you like, right? And you know, if you like a girl, you're going to be interested in her. You're going to be like, I wonder what she's interested in. So you're going to be looking at her and you're going to be thinking, oh, you know, does she like to read? Does she like to dance? What's she into? You're going to want to find out about her, right? So you're going to make an effort to try and learn about this girl. Then you approach her and maybe you get together or whatever. And if you like her, if you're into her, you're going to want to know everything about her. Well, guess what? That's on a carnal sense. On a spiritual sense, a demon's like that too. But a demon, it doesn't need to go to sleep. It doesn't need to rest. It can be watching you 24/7. So for example, a demon might jump on you at the age of 27, but that demon might have been stalking you since you were age 7. So it's been watching you, learning everything about you, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, so it knows the best way to present itself to you in order to persuade you in whatever way the Most High ordained you to be persuaded. Because the scripture says, one of the kings, the Most High wanted him to persuade him to fall in a battle. At Ramoth Gilead. And the Most High said, he had the spirits before him on the right hand and the left. And the Most High said, who will go and persuade Ahab to fall at Ramoth Gilead? And the spirits came and they said, on this manner, and on that manner. And one spirit came up and said, I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Most High said, thou hast spoken well, go and do it. So likewise, if the Most High wants to persuade you to go a certain way, the spirits all there before him saying, look man, we can persuade him this way or that way, and Yahweh will sanction it, and then the spirit will come up and it will start influencing you. Now the same spirit can move through different people. For example, because in that particular scripture it says, I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all of his prophets. So this same spirit that's maybe trying to persuade you to do something, it might come through your brother, it might come through someone on your job, it might come through your mother, anybody, it can come through anybody and persuade you to go off. So that's why it's dangerous. That's why I say lying to yourself is one of the worst things you can do, because when you do that, you don't know up from down, left from right, you're lost, man. That's why, you know, a lot of guys, when they come into the truth and they come out, they end up coming out 10 times worse. They end up 10 times worse after they fall out, I should say.
Yeah, I've got a precept, right?
Go on.
This is first Solomon's chapters 1 and 1 says, Proverb of Solomon, the son of David, the king of Israel, to know wisdom and instructions, to perceive the words of understanding. Alright? Yeah. To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young men knowledge and discretion. Right? A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. Yeah, because to understand, to grow in this truth, Yeah, you've got to be able to receive wisdom, receive instructions. Yeah, instructions to receive, to understand, to receive instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. And the last point, because I've done a little sit down on this little video, is to give subtlety to the simple and young men knowledge and discretion, because all those things but discretion is very different. Yeah, different, because you can apply, for example, you can apply crossing the road, right? You need a certain amount of discretion just to cross the road. It's different from when you're just walking in the park.
That's right.
Discretion. Yeah. So when you've got to look left and right. You've got to make sure you choose your times.
Yeah.
And then you move forward, and that's discretion. So when you apply wisdom, you apply a different amount of wisdom, which you need discretion to cross the road. It's a different kind of wisdom.
Yes.
So when you're chilling in the park, you might be chilling. You might be a little bit more laid back. You might be a little bit more relaxed. But you don't need to be as so vigilant and a little bit nervy when you're in the park. So you've got to know the difference, when to apply the two different qualities.
Yeah.
So this is where, like you mentioned, we're talking about spirits, reading spirits, understanding different spirits, man, and going and being able to deal with different spirits. So to be a good ruler, to be a good king.
Yeah.
And it's all about understanding spirits, and it's a team effort. Sometimes, like some brothers, they come in, they don't know when to keep quiet, like we mentioned, It's all right, you could talk loud and you could talk on fire and be on fire. Just know when to and when not to.
Yeah.
But that the person, the last person, he didn't know when not to.
Yeah. He was, what did it say? The fool discerns got time and judgment. Roughly paraphrasing, let me get it.
Yeah, get it. So there's an off and on switch. I'm gonna be honest, man. When I was younger, I was kind of hyper. I was hyper too, which I was in the world, innit? But I was hyper. The Most High didn't give me that discretion, which I had to learn it in my way, the way He was going to teach me. In and out of hospitals, getting into some carnal fights, eventually getting it, at this stage, which is better, as you said last week. It's better late than never. Yeah. But I did get it, and when I come in the truth, I said, my hand, I submitted, man, to this truth. I went everywhere, man. I went into carnality, right? I went into making money, right? My energy. I said to myself, right, I know I'm full of anger, and I just said this to some brothers. I said it to one brother. I know I'm so full of anger. I'm going to use that anger and frustration to make money. My anger, I must have been very angry. I was doing very well. You understand what I'm saying? So, then after that, because I learned a lesson there, I wanted to go into the Christian church. I said, I've done enough there. Let me go into the Christian church. I learned what the Most I wanted me to learn there. So when I come to cut a long story short, when I came to GMS, right, I said to the brothers, look, man, I've been everywhere. I said to the brothers, I've been everywhere, man. This is the highest peak I've been to. This is the best camp I've ever been to. GMS is the best camp I've ever been to, and that includes all the other nigger camps too. You understand? So by rights, if I can come out of the Christian church with everything functioning, right, yeah, and the beating that I took in there, because I took some beatings in there, like for rebelling. Yeah. And I still went there and sat down in the front and I said, give it to me, come on, give it to me. Because I was rebelling a lot, right? But that was the spirit anyway, and I said, give it to me. So I should be able to take punches by rights. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even in the wrong though, by rights, I'm supposed to be able to take what the Most I give me, because I took it everywhere else. That's why I have the spirit that I have now, man. So I've learned discretion. Yeah. Wisdom is all right, but the discretion is another part too. That's all I want to say.
There's a few more, bit more meat on that bone, but let me just bring this out and we go back to FS, okay? Yeah. So this is Surah 18 and 27. A wise man will fear in everything, and in the day of sinning, he will be aware of offense, but a fool will not observe time. Touching on the point you're saying, a fool will not observe time, man. It's like, there's a good analogy used. The difference between walking in the park and crossing the road. You need to know when to be, when to apply yourself, when to pull back a little bit. Those things are all discretion and wisdom that a wise man has. But a fool, like, every time it's time for them to talk, or it's always me. Another one I've got is Surah 20 and verse 7. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will not regard time. Just the 2 points I wanted to make. But if you read got Salakia.
Yeah, I got up to chapter 5, verses 5.
Yeah, going to the Dark Sayings, read that as well. And yeah, read 6 and 7.
So I'll go back to 4. To give simplicity to the simple, subtlety to the simple. Yeah, being able to, because Esau's subtle on the left-hand side. Again, that's reading spirits and knowing, like brothers who have to go to work, subtlety. You know, they ain't gonna just say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm gonna curse you out. You're my boss, but you're fucking Edomite.
And you're going into slavery.
It's subtlety. You know, you go in and you just do what you have to do. Your head down, little conversation here and there. But you don't throw your pearls to swine.
Yeah, just a quick comment on that. Because you know you've got brothers that, so I say brothers loosely, and they're walking everywhere with fringes on.
Yeah, that's not wise, man.
You know, they're trying to incorporate into the world.
Yeah.
You know, going to work. You know, just walking about doing your shopping, and like the brothers are going into discernment. It's like you don't want to put a target on yourself. Because ultimately, when we're coming out with this truth that we're bringing out, it's hard, man. And it's like it's the realest thing ever. And it's upsetting the elites.
Yep.
It's upsetting the lower Edomites because they're learning about, you know, what the truth of the matter is. It's upsetting them J-double-O's out there, you know. So ultimately, because we're going to become targets anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I just want to say that.
Yeah, man. Because
So like, man, I just say something as well. Wasn't it on the videos they were saying that they're doing annotations of all the words brothers are using in their videos? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I saw that on the chat.
They're doing it on all videos because obviously it's like if you're gonna cover certain people, cover everyone, that doesn't look suspicious.
Yeah, they have to do it. They have to do it to the whole spectrum. They have to.
Right?
They can't just, you know.
You know, what do you need to do it to some foolish channel that's not really talking much?
Yeah.
You don't need to do it, but they're obviously going to cover everyone. But they're picking up on it. Not just us. There's other people out there talking, you know, trying to talk, you know, about the wickedness that's going on out there in the world.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones, but we're coming with, you know, like I just said, the fullest.
But I was just going to say that because I saw the video, I didn't watch it all, but when I was on YouTube yesterday, not to bag up from what you got, put on deck, when you know, like if you're on the computer and you see the video, you don't play it, but you highlight it. I just highlighted it. It was playing a little small, you know, thumbnail video, and it had text on the bottom in English, and all my words were perfectly in the text. I'm like, hang on a minute, that's exactly how I speak. And then, like, even when I was saying and then blah blah, everything was exactly
per second. It's like it goes through per second, isn't it?
Yeah.
The time frame is, you know, every word.
But like, you know, sometimes like it might misinterpret a word.
Yeah.
It was all like my pattern of speech. I could tell. Hang on. Yeah, I know, because it was in silent, but I could see, and I remembered what I was saying because it was out the other day. I thought this is interesting, but I wasn't scared of it because again, Esau will want you to be scared. Like, oh shit, they're watching us.
Yeah, watching us.
They're onto us.
Discourage you.
Let's not speak so much about Esau going into slavery. That's the kind of spirit he wants to put. But fuck you, Esau. We're not scared. We wasn't scared when we first came out. Now that we're even closer to the Lord's return, we're not scared now either. So it's like there's nothing that Esau can really do to intimidate us, because that's his whole thing. Like, oh, you know, like what's he doing with Russia now? The Americans doing with Russia. Oh, we'll put sanctions on you. Well, fuck you, man. What are you gonna do? You've already robbed us anyway. You've taken all our goods. You can't put sanctions on us. You can't try and assimilate us back into your shitty little system. It's a wrap, man.
And what he doesn't understand is that we fear
the greater power
more than we fear him.
Yeah, the men.
By far.
But it's already been written anyway. It's already been written that Esau's going to go for the persecution. Like it reads in the book of Revelations 12 and 12.
Yes.
That the devil shall come down having great wrath, because he knows we have but a short time. So that's written. So, I mean, why would we be upset, or not upset, but why would we be affected emotionally by Esau with the transcripts? Like, we could say whatever the hell we want to say. You know, as long as we ain't violating their laws or whatever, then it really shouldn't be an issue. You know, because at the end of the day, we're on the scene now. And when the prophets are on the scene, really